Welcome back to another session of ASMR Paint with me. And we are going to be using two microphones today. I will isolate them for you now. This is just with the Blue Yeti. And this is just with the Zoom that is placed behind the canvas so that you can hear every brush stroke. I just got it and I'm really happy to start experimenting with it. So I'm going to go ahead and start by laying out my colors. I know I want to work on this area here. So the colors I need for that are going to be dark greens, so I'll get a lot of green right here. I know I'm going to need this medium green too, so I'll get some of that. I went through my paints earlier and yeah, here's another one. Look at that, it's all grody. I can't use that. I've been painting for a long time, so I've had some of these for years. Go ahead and open a new one. Oh, as well. Okay, so this one has a little bit more blue in it. I went to Michael's today and I'm super excited about what I got. I got some dust on my palette here from that tube. Old tube. I'm gonna just blow it off. Away from my paint. Okay. There, I feel better about that. I didn't realize so much dust had settled on my palette. Okay. Some raw umber. And I will probably need maybe a touch of yellow. I have lemon yellow and I have medium yellow. So I think I'll use the lemon yellow for this today. I just need a touch for highlights. So now that I have most of the paint that I need for today, I want to show you what I got. I got some of these really cool new brushes. And they have some shapes. They're specialty brushes. And who doesn't like crinkly packaging, right? Okay. These are some pretty interesting brushes here. Got a little wrapping at the bottom. Alright, but as you can see, it has this rake orientation. So I'm pretty sure that's what you would call this. Three-eighths fan. So as you can imagine, there's all kinds of interesting effects that you can create with a brush set like this. When I saw this, I saw immediately foliage and flowers. So that's what this is going to be. Each one of these little points could be a flower on top of a bush just by one little touch. And it's that easy. With the right tools, you can do anything. And that really is true. And while I'm waiting for my, I got a really nice Bob Ross knife, but this was only $3, so I picked one up. You can never have too many. And somehow, most of my tools are just gone. I don't question that type of thing. It happens to me a lot. I tend to lose things. But and we can mix our paint on the palette as well. It really helps to give you a nice line. And this one's already giving me some issues because it's just cheaply made. So yeah, I wouldn't use this to paint too much probably. That's a little better. And you can hear it. Sound has a lot to do with painting, in my opinion. I hear what's happening. You can hear the resistance as opposed to a smooth stroke. So it's all part of your intuition. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and, oh yes, the other brushes I got. Now these had shown up this morning. Oh, I was looking for this, my charcoal. That way I can redo the details that have been wiped away from the tree. Wonderful. But, so, these came this morning, and while they are delightful, I thought that this one, the largest, was a lot wider. You know, with a wider expanse. These will be great for creating some really quick trees, which, you know, horribly represented here, but this is kind of in the distance, so it should be fairly dull and not very clearly defined as much as things in the foreground are going to be. So I just had to go to Michael's and get a fan brush, a proper fan brush, so that I will be able to do all of the wonderful things that you can do with a fan brush. And it's a lovely example. I'm so glad they had it, because it truly was the only one there that met my standards, a hog bristle size 5 or larger. Very nice. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. All of these with my detail brushes. And then I have my larger brushes on the side. I'm not always going to need them. In different stages, you use different brushes completely. Oh yeah. I couldn't pass this up. And I will be using this paint in this piece. It's called Interference Gold. And it looks just amazingly gorgeous. So I will be adding this to the colors on some of the finishing touches of the piece, like the flowers and foliage and things like that, and also maybe some different elements in highlights, like as if there's some sort of luminescent glow on things. We'll see what happens, I'm not sure. So, for now, let's see. I need to arrange these better. And I may need to have taken that plane out of the audio. If I didn't, maybe I was able to take it out. And there was a huge plane that just went by. I deal with a lot of background noise that I am always trying to remove. So, when I have my colors here, I know I really want to work on this area back here. And I am going to continue the painting and start unifying these layers together. Now, I don't know if you know anything about landscapes and how light works, but this is not how light works. It should be darker and duller. Well, not darker, but duller towards the background. Darker towards the front is correct, but having the brightness of this green here is just totally throwing me off. So what I'm going to do is add some white and some black. I got the two white today, so I'll add some of that on my palette too. Okay, so having a little white off over here is really great. And once you start building your own workflow, you'll find the best places for you to place your paint and how you like to organize it and whatnot. But where's my black? Oh, an open one here. Yeah. Let's see what shape it's in, yeah. Oh, it's usable. Okay. So, a little black, a little far away from the white. Alright. So, go ahead and take my knife and I look at the piece. I'm looking at the layers, how I want to change things, what I want to do. It's time to make some bigger decisions, as some might say. So I'm going to take a scoop of this green. I know I need green. Go ahead, smear that right on there. And I want to get it a little bit more dull. So yeah, that some raw umber. A touch of that dark green, which is actually more of like a, it's got a lot of blue in it. This one. Put that in there. And I know I need quite a bit of white. even though this is a pretty crappy knife, I wouldn't use it to paint, but because that's what it would look like if I did. I could still float with it fairly well, but you're gonna get those little lines. I don't know if you can see the quality there, but there's some ridging that's happening, and so yeah, I think it, dang it, it works well for its purposes, for what I bought it for. Oh gosh, it almost wants to cut this plastic. That's crazy. It's not a smooth metal at all. But yeah, it's a lot better than using my brushes to mix the paint, I'll say that. Alright, so I'm looking, and that's still very bright for what I want, but I'm getting there. I'd say I'm about almost matched what I have there, so I'm going to cut off some more white, leave it in a section. See how much, that'll give me a gauge how much I need. And see, I'm getting there. So, a bit more of that, a bit more of that. Someone once told me that most of the magic happens on the palette. And it's completely true. Especially if you're creating your own colors, which I very much like to do. I prefer to have my own colors in a piece, because then I can sincerely say I created every bit of it. Oh, I love that. How that marbled there. That's a beautiful effect. Okay, so I'm very happy with this green, and I think it's gonna play very well for this layer, and this green right here is gonna do really well for this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe off my knife. Oh, I guess that's what $3 gets you. Oh, I don't want lint in my paint. Godspeed. We'll see what happens. I guess I need to glue that, because it's not like it's worthless. It still has a purpose. But I need to be able to clean it. Let's see. Alright. So I've got a few different brushes that I think I'll be able to use for this purpose. And I have my very old trusty bowl. This bowl is very special to me. It's very stained. Here, I'll show. It still keeps the water clean somehow, I don't know. So, these are brand new, so I need to clean them off. Remove the sizing that was put on the company. Okay. I like the one. It looks like there's one badger hair in there, and one black hair, and all those blonde hairs. That's cute. Okay. Clean this one off too. And these ones I got on Amazon. It's always great to have a variety of cheaper brushes. They're very useful, but always be very careful that you don't get their bristles lost in your painting, because you will not get them out unless the paint is wet. Alright, so I'm going to start laying down right here. Oh, that color I want. And I can just push like that to really load both sides of the brush. Just a gentle push, and you can see the ridge that was left on the paint. You're going to have a matching amount of paint inside the brush. And just start pressing that color in. See white right there, like to the canvas itself. So I'm really going to focus some paint on this area. Really dig it. Using the natural shape of the brush is giving me these nice mounded shapes. Always use the qualities of the brush itself to your advantage. A little bit more white. Towards the top. Looks very nice, gives it more dimension. Touch of water. Oh, that was way too much. If that ever happens, don't move it around. Go ahead and grab your towel. Remove all that excess water. Okay. Then use the brush to soak up the fluid on the palette that became excessive just by tapping. like that. Okay, and your brush drank that right up. You can wipe that off too. So no problem. And this is a great brush. Wonderful that it drank all that up. Excellent. Okay. So yeah. And now that I've gotten it a little wet, you see that it's gotten a little spiky. So now it's going to give me that effect. These little spots. Which I like when it's, time for it. And then back into here. Definitely need to probably go in with a smaller brush there. And if you notice, there's an area right here where it looks like maybe I scuffed it with some green paint or whatever. And I can just cover that up with some trees later, so it's no problem. Alright, and I am pretty pleased with the color and the dimension here for the most part. So go ahead and clean off my brush. A little squeeze does wonders. Okay. So I think I'd like to go in with this guy and give the situation a little detail. I feel like there's a lot of glue. Like just a lot of glue. Yeah, there is. Tons of glue. I need to wash this with soap. So, I'll be right back after I do that. Okay. So yeah, I got the brush cleaned, kind of. It's like they put super glue on it or something. Crazy cheap brushes. So what I want to do is actually add some detailing on the foliage. So I want to show you how easy it is to do that. And just like loading the other brush, the larger one, you just kind of push and wiggle on both sides, flip like a pancake. And I'm just going to press. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that. They were too dark to be part of this layer, and now they're all cohesive with built-in shadows. But we need to put them on the ground by adding a little bit of darkness down here, just like pretty happy with that. It was bugging me when I walked back to it. I was like, those trees just don't look like they belong there. Now I'm going to add some other trees right here. Plenty of paint built up. A nice edge on the brush. Plenty of paint right on the edge, just on the tips. Do you really need to fly right now? Okay, and big decisions. I think this is more of like bushes. No, it ended up being a tree. It's just the indication of things. You don't need to stress about it. Just lay it down and kind of chill. Just let it be. Yeah. I think I can just lay in a little extra. There we go. Alright. Oh, I like how it looks from far away too. I can see it on my monitor with the camera monitor on my screen. So it's nice to glance over and see it from afar, all coming together. And once this fully dries, I think I'll add, trees coming. Well, actually I can do that now. Need some darker trees coming forward. Grab a little bit of this. A little black. Tiniest bit of black goes a long way. Got the indication of some little trees here. Now I can give them a little highlight. Maybe they've got a little yellow in them to make them stand out from the hill. Now this guy, he's begging to make a bush, I think. So let's see. Take a little bit of this brown here. I mean, would you just look at that? It just wants to be a bush. And just lay some stuff in there. If I get enough paint on it. There we go. This brush behaves very strange. I've never used it before, and it just kind of ruined everything I was trying to do. Oh well, we can turn that into something else. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna kind of fuzz that out, because it really ruined what I was going for altogether. So, go ahead and soften up the color I was working with there before. And just go ahead and, yeah, don't be afraid to use your finger ever. I think I won't do it. Just get back in there with this. Just gotta fuzz that whole thing out. That's fine. It happens sometimes. You mess up and you just don't like how it's looking. And you're like, crap, I want to go back. I want to go back in time. You can. Especially with acrylic paint. It's so easy to just say, oh, I'm sorry, bye. I don't like you anymore. Alright. And you know what? That gave me some interesting variegation and detailing there that wasn't there before. So you really can't just go back in time, but you can easily restructure your piece. Most definitely do that. So, I want to go ahead and start working up this way. So I think I need to make more of this color. I really like the color that's there, and it is pretty much this. So, I'll make some more. Plenty of brown. Plenty of green. Oopsies, gotta pick it up. And this one's gonna have a little bit more of this blue. And just a smidge. You see how much that smidge is? Tiniest smidge of black. Littlest black goes a long way. I have paint drying here. Oh geez. I've laid my paint on top of drying paint. That's not good. All that crusty stuff. Oh well, we'll have some texture. is quite a bit dark, isn't it? Let's see what our friend White can do. So I hope you are having a wonderful evening or whatever time of day it is for you. I hope you find my videos relaxing and maybe learn something if you want to. If you don't, who cares? It's fun to watch people paint. Not too worried about getting the fill or anything behind the tree all too perfect, because I already know I'm going to be covering that up. But the edges, where I know the tree isn't going to be, definitely want to work on that. So, loading the brush with the wiggle and a push, and a flip, and a wiggle and a push. And you can just lay that shape right down. Giving things much more dimension. Really giving this next layer the right color. And also making sure that every bit of the canvas is covered. Pushing it in. I don't think I did anything to really prepare for this piece, and I can tell that now because I'm seeing all these little white dots. It's the canvas, and when you piece things together like this, it makes it very hard. It's like stitches. And now I've got to stitch all this together. But that's okay, because I'm very devoted to the direction of this piece, and I think it's really beautiful. I want to be there, so I'm going to make it my place. I'm going to make this place, and I'm going to go there. And you can all come with me. you ever get foreign matter stuck on your painting, just use the knife, or if you don't have, a painting knife, you can use anything, any kind of tool like that. Sometimes even the back of your paintbrush will help to get it off like that. Okay, let's see, wiggle and a push, wiggle and a push. And I'm just trying to push this paint into some of these spots that I see. And I have a brush for that. I don't know why I'm fraying up my poor baby here. I'm gonna go ahead and reshape it. To fill in stubborn little holes, you need a stubborn little brush. Stubby little brush. So, make sure it's clean. Alright. Now I'm going to go in and just push wherever I see a white dot. And then just push this color right in. Really pushing it in. Make sure you stain the canvas. The first layers of your painting are about staining the canvas. If you're going for layers and dimension, you gotta build them up. So, needless to say, these first few layers are gonna look pretty crappy. And that's why most people give up and don't continue, because they think they suck when they see how bad it looks. That's why I wanted to start this painting with these layers, so that you can see that it always looks bad at first. I'm just pushing the paint in, so we don't have any canvas showing through. And then I always have fun with the detail brushes. I love detail. And it's always the magical parts of the painting. When you've got the smallest brush in your hand and you're adding the final touches, and it all just comes to life. It's a very exciting and fulfilling feeling, and there's really nothing else that feels like it. So I'm finding all of these little brats trying to get away from me. haven't put too much thought into what I want to do in this area of the foreground, but I know what I want to do for the edges, the shore of the lake or the riverbed or whatever you want it to be, really. I don't like to constrict people when they look at my art. If they want it to be a river, that's fine. To me, I was painting a lake, but it really does look like a river going off to one side or wherever it may go, you know, who knows, off, away. But yeah, I want to put like calla lilies and weeping willows on the edges, so swooping over the water. Those would be really pretty, and I could definitely make calla lilies very iridescent with this paint that I got. The interference gold. So it'll be really fun. I'm looking forward to getting to the stages. Alright. Yes, that looks a lot more full, a lot more real, but it's a little too dark now. So yeah, it's a little too dark, so I'm going to bring it a little bit more to the values that I want for that grade. So I'm going to take a little of this guy, a little more of the white in here. And just a touch of water, just to soften things up a little. And I'm going to go ahead and model things a little bit of the brown laid out. I like it like dotted on like that. Just kind of get little pieces so you get some details of different colors and different spots. And now you're going to get some very you can't determine the results when using this technique. You never know what you're going to get, but it's really fun to play out and see what happens. I think I got a seal on there or something. Yeah, there we go. Okay. See, now we have all different colors laid throughout here. Different spots. So let's see what happens. If we don't like it, you know what we're gonna do. Just start pressing. And I do like the effect. When you want to create the sense that there's another mound You just bring some darkness right on that spot. A little bit more water. And my philosophy with painting is that you should always have a good time. And if you're not having a good time with it, you should most definitely stop and come back to it later. I just saw something fly onto my piece. You see that? Look at that guy. Terrible. There's another scraggler. Sometimes you'll get these little things pop onto your painting and you gotta just knock them down. Don't get me wrong, I love a little texture, but not when it's a foreign matter in my piece. That is not what I'm going for. Now I'm just swiping the white, and I'm going to go in and just touch the piece. Just touching the piece. And I'm going to do that with some yellow as well. So that way I have, you know, the feeling of it being a little dull and far away, but I also have, you know, the highlights. And just drag that along like that. That's nice. This lemon yellow is so buttery. It's a nice paint. Yes, and especially right here, we're going to want the light like that. Yeah. That's fun, isn't it? And then using the shape of the brush again, just start laying the shapes, and it creates those mouths for you. Very easy. With the right tools, you can really create some amazing effects with little to no effort on your part, really. make some other shapes that will make sense. Right here. Nice and soft now. That's very nice. Oh, this paint. Really not the best quality paint, I guess. It dries so dang fast on my palette that I have very little time. So I'm really happy with how this is going. I think it looks really pretty. I could just dive in. I think I might add a little bit more highlighting. But after that, I think I'm good. I'm done. And as you can see, I'm not afraid to use my fingers. It doesn't bother me a bit. I think I want some highlighting on this hill, just, where the sun is shining through. So I'll get my little guy and dip right in this yellow. Get just some hard, fresh yellow. Just solid yellow. And just put like the thinnest little indications of some glow. And then I'll wiggle and a push. Get a nice little wedge. Not the best brush. It's really not giving me a thin ridge. Like I said, if you are having problems with painting and you feel like it's failing, it's the tool. You're probably right. Always give yourself the benefit of the doubt, because you know what you want the tool to do. Sometimes the tool's not capable. Okay. And that's just the beginning indications of some little bit of glow. But I am very happy with the direction of this piece, like I said. It's definitely somewhere I want to be. And I so appreciate you joining me for the journey. And I hope you join me next time. Bye.